Hello and welcome. We're doing another newsletter tonight. It's a late night stream and I just have so much to say, but I just want to say snaps to all of us because we made it happen. We forced Webtoons. We made that intern release this statement in the newsletter and I am so happy about it. Like, all I ever wanted was some clarity. Like, why can we not get clarity from them sometimes? Well, they finally did it. So thank you to whoever forced this in, whoever made sure that there was clarification on this, because I am so happy that we can put this to bed. All right, so let's get into it. Also, hello there from Toronto. Awesome. Hi, Legends. How are y'all feeling about the contest? This week, our newsletter is all about feelings and how to help readers become emotionally invested in your story. 48 days to the submission deadlines. Are you working on your series? How is it going? Because let me tell you, my delusion finally broke and I'm going a different route. Okay, so here it is. Q&A highlight. Question to you, Webtoons. Can I edit my submission? Can I reload an episode? There it is in black and white from Webtoons. This is them co-signing the Q&A, FAQ, whatever you want to call it, that article that they posted. In bold, highlighted, so there is no confusion. I'm sure they got like a million emails about this and they were just like, bruh, can we stop getting emails about this? Plain and simple, no. But see, this situation is nuanced and I feel like, Webtoons had to address this in order to frame themselves as kind of creator first. And I hope that somebody did this because they felt like it was the right thing to do and not necessarily because they felt that they needed that they were forced to do it. I feel like hopefully they saw the community and they were like, yes, let us help the community. So I feel like the animosity that I have had in my last few videos about this, I feel like it is gone. So no, submissions should not be edited after they have been submitted with limited exceptions. And again, it is highlighted in bold. What the heck? Okay. So thank you. What are the limited exceptions, Webtoons? There should be no substantive changes to your submission, including to the key story elements and characters after it has been submitted. Edits are permitted in limited circumstances. For example, mistaken uploads. I don't really know what that means. Maybe they mean you uploaded it before you were ready or on accident. There's a few ways to interpret that, but mistaken uploads, correcting typos. Okay, thank you, Webtoons. Your own originals sometimes have typos in them before they go up. The least you can do is give grace to creators who are doing this by themselves with no checks and balances most of the time. So clearly that is very much appreciated. Updating series or episode thumbnails. Thank you. I feel like if you make a banger thumbnail much later, it should be fine. Why are we so hard pressed about this? Thank you, Webtoons. You guys also update thumbnails. So I feel like all of this is making sense. All of this is agreeing. Redistributing panels or updating content to comply with our community guidelines. So if they took down your episode, they were like, oops, sorry about that. Fix it and put it back up. It still is in the running. So, and then they have this last part, but timing is important. So I don't know what that necessarily means, but I do like the fact that they clarified in this email. There was no, I don't know. Yes, according to the rules, you are disbanded, but it all depends. This is very much a clarification that the whole community needed, that the whole community deserved. Webtoons, we are entering your contest for free. Thousands of people are going to enter. People are putting in 6 months of work up onto your site, and this is something that needed to be addressed. So I am so happy. So happy. I feel like we did this. I want to live in this delusion where I'm like, yes, it was our community that forced this to happen. Like no one else did this. We take credit for it. We are the ones who are out here fighting against the man. So I just want to say, like, I'm so happy that we all like tweeted about it. We kept bombarding them with emails. We, threw it up on stories so that other people would know. Like, we made a frenzy about this. I just feel like it was needed. And something like this is so important. And I do think this, in my eyes, goes not necessarily a long way, but it goes a little bit of a way to show me that every once in a while, Webtoons as a company can show that they care for their creators by doing something very simple, like making a public statement about an issue that the community is having. Like, please, sometimes Webtoons, like, it does not even have to be this long. Like, just say it out loud for us so that we are not sitting over here like twiddling our thumbs. Like, I feel like a lot of people's motivation like went way down because of the fact that they did not even know if their story still qualified. Like, I feel like Webtoons had people terrified. So, like, I'm just so happy to see that this has been clarified. Okay, please ensure your submission qualifies and complies with the official rules before submitting it for consideration within the applicable submission period. Do not re-upload or resubmit your submission to make any changes outside the scope of the limited circumstances mentioned above. So they were like, bro, we have clarified this for you. Like, we have been 1,000 with you. Like, this is the parameters that you have. Do not go in there and redo your whole story and then pretend like it was up the whole time. Like, we know. Oh no, Andy, I'm so glad to see. This is what I'm talking about. Like, we are not lawyers, so having a contract and having things in legalese can be so confusing. There was so much discord, and I don't necessarily think that Webtoons wouldn't potentially give grace to creators, although they've proven that a lot of times they will not. I just felt like it was one of those situations where it was like, well, dang, I done messed up. What the heck? And then for them to come out and clarify this, I just feel like put so many people's minds at ease. And I feel like they could have done this to begin with. Like, if Webtoons had just had a meeting with their team, like if management or the legal department could have just been like, yes, it's fine. Like, this could have been resolved and there would have been no issues. There would not have been like 3 videos of me ranting about this. Do you have questions? Email legendscontest@webtoons.com. Go to FAQ and read the official rules. Like, this stuff all right here, like, guys, you've got to read this. Like, I know people are like, they have their opinions about the FAQ. They have their opinions about what, you get from the email. But here's the thing. Webtoons is in charge of the contest. Are you going to take them to court? What are you going to prove? Like, what are you going to prove? That they did not include something in the official rules? You don't have a contract with them. Webtoons don't care. Like, they will tie you up in legal fees. Like, even if it made it to the court with the judge, I feel like the judge would be like, okay, they posted about this. Like, what are you upset about? Why are you wasting my time? Like, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. So it's just so important to be in tune with Webtoons on this. Like, they're the ones judging the contest. They're the ones who are going to give you the money. Just do what they say if you want to be an original. Like, that's what you're going to have to do when you become an original. You're going to have to, like, get the shaft all the time. Anyway, at Webtoons, many of our creators love to stress out their readers in the best way possible. I mean, yes. Great stories often keep us at the edge of our seat, worried that the characters won't succeed in their mission, won't win the fight, or will get their hearts broken. Do I like when a story makes the character's heart break? I mean, not necessarily in a romance, but I get what you're saying, Webtoons. Great stories. Oh, did I read that? Yep. The anticipation in a story helps the moment they overcome obstacles feel even more satisfying. At Webtoons, we call this emotional cycle, tension, and reward. Okay, I like some behind the scenes type stuff. I do feel like every story kind of needs this sort of reward system. Like, I don't know if you have to necessarily like always do like tension. I feel like sometimes you can just give a reward to give it a reward. Like, I guess that's what fan service is. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but sometimes people eat it up. While that might be good for readers to be anxious for your characters, we don't want you to have to suffer with creative anxiety. So before we jump into today's discussion about creating emotional experiences for your readers, please take some time to care for your own creative wellness by checking out our workshops below. All right, so then they have these two videos, Taking a Step Back with Webtoon Canvas, Dealing with Creative Anxiety by Webtoon, Webtoon Academy. I don't know why I said Webtoon Canvas. In order to understand tension and reward, let's start with some basics about storytelling. The plot is the sequential progression of a story through major moments. Usually, these major moments are scenes focused on conflict that lead characters toward change. Okay, I'm feeling this. Like, I feel like I'm being very respectful this episode, and I just feel like it's because of the clarification earlier. So, to the Webtoon intern that wrote this, put some respect on your name because I'm loving it. A plot is essentially the facts. What events or conflicts will occur? Where will they occur? Who will be involved? And what will be the outcome? This isn't necessarily an emotional experience. We need something to get readers invested in the outcomes of these conflicts. That's where stakes become useful. Oh, yes, please, please, please let your story have stakes. If it does not have stakes, I don't even know why you're making it. Hi, finally caught your live for the first time. Yeah, this is a random time for me. I don't think I've ever done a live this late. Stakes are what characters risk losing. Yes, I need to understand what your character is risking for the scene to have impact to me, emotionally or physically, when they encounter these conflicts. Yes. So it doesn't always have to be like a physical thing. Like, I think of what is his name from Game of Thrones? Like the guy who was like the golden boy and then he gets his hand chopped off and so he can't be like a swordsman anymore. Like, that to me is like a physical like stake, like he lost his hand. Like, Game of Thrones, I feel like is a really good example of like there are stakes, like and things can happen. Like, there's no plot armor. So anyway, my point with all of this is like it doesn't always have to be physical. It could be something emotional, like them not getting into a relationship with somebody. Yes, Jamie. Yes, Jamie. I mean, only cared about Cersei in Game of Thrones, so that says a lot about me. By emphasizing the stakes, expected outcomes can become uncertain. Readers may wonder, does the main character win? Do they fall in love? Do they survive? Stakes set up risks, which can compel readers to want to know the outcome of a conflict. Yes, I want to know why the character and why what is happening to the character is important. Like, if the character is literally just like, oh, I've entered into the scenario and now I'm coming out of the scenario, and like, whether they won or lose, if there's no context for me to understand why it was an important fight, why it was an important encounter, like, then I just don't care. Like, it's just like, okay, I'm reading your plot. Like, give me some emotion. Give me some drama. Among Korean webtoon creators, this process of emphasizing the stakes at risk and then providing a satisfying outcome is a fundamental part of storytelling. So much of that in Korea, it has its own vocabulary. Okay, Lord, I feel like I cannot say these words and I'm going to butcher them. So I feel like I'm just not going to say them. I mean, I really will if y'all bully me into doing it, but it will be horrible. So looking at this first one, it says that the actual meaning for it is foreshadowing, the plant and pay off, or the unknown outcomes in a story. The best... Oh. Sorry. Aryu said, I raise the stakes by having my MC lose her shoe. I mean, if the shoe's really important to her, like let's do it. I am ever? More passion, more energy. Exactly. I want to feel it. Pylon said, so that means I can change my series thumbnail, right? I'm so glad to hear this. Yes, that's what they said. So you should not be dinged. Like, and if you are, you can just refer back to their own message. The best T turn question marks into exclamation points when answered. Yes, 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 yes. In other words, it is tension that is purposely created and drives readers toward an unknown outcome. Saida? The literal translation means sparkling soda, so Sprite. Actual meaning is payoff, catharsis, or satisfaction. Saida is a drink that satisfies your thirst like none other. In terms of storytelling, it will be a moment in a sequence, scene, or story that is extremely satisfying. This is the reward your readers are seeking. But be careful. Too much, tekoba without enough sada can result in goguma, or feeling like you've eaten too many sweet potatoes. You just can't get through it all without feeling stuffed and heavy. Oh my good grief! My computer's about to die. I'm like, why is my computer freaking out? Of course. Give me like 2 seconds. Hopefully it won't die and we can make it through the rest of the stream. I swear, one of these days I'm not going to have technical difficulties. Yep. It's just spinning. The intern strikes back. The intern is on my side tonight. Okay, there we go. That intern went and it was on low battery. That intern went to their boss and was like, dude, we've got to do something to help these people out. Like, I keep getting bombarded with messages about this editing thing. Tokpa? Oh, thank you. I'm like, I'm like, I have no clue how to say this. Like, it's so many letters. Like, I don't even know how to sound this out. Tok. Baba. I don't know. This is why I did not want to say it out loud. So be sure your Tok Baba comes with a nice, refreshing moment of sada. This process of building tension towards rewards is useful for all webcomic creators. In fact, it's a key skill for all of our legendary contests judges. You can find examples of this core concept in any of the following series. As you're reading, it can be helpful to ask yourself, how does the panel layout or pacing support this cycle of tension and reward? How does the tension and reward align with the series genre? So then they give us the example of the judges and they say, if you're in these categories, look at how these creators do the series and how it like really helps them to do this like give and take reward type system. So you already know all of the judges. We've gone over it a couple of times. How can you add tension and reward to your story? Your story is unique, so only you can find the right answer to this question. But here are some steps you can take to help. Step number 1, identify your story's conflict. Please, if you don't know what your story's conflict is, it's insane. Like stop writing. Tension occurs within conflict. Conflict can mean anything that creates an obstacle for your character, such as conflicting objectives, conflicting emotions, conflicting values, or fist-to-face fight scenes. Conflicts are the core of every scene, and there's usually a central conflict at the heart of a story that will span multiple arcs or the entire series. You may be able to easily identify conflicts in your story and scenes with that definition, which means you've identified the essence of your tension. Exactly. So please, if you're like, I don't know what this is, like take a little magnifying glass, look at your script, look at your storyboards or whatever you're using as your outline, and figure out like where the tension is. Like, you got to be a detective in your own story sometimes. Sometimes we just write off of emotion because it feels good, but like it's really good to take a little analytical view sometimes to kind of figure out what's going on. Negi, first time catching you live. Thank you for all your videos on the updates regarding the contest, as I would probably have not read all of the newsletters and whatnot. I'm doing my best. They're making this newsletter hard with the different words and the example. Like it's cool though. It's cool. I'm gonna give them props. I'm giving them props this episode. Number 2, identify the stakes at risk within these conflicts. Conflicts will drive characters towards change, but that naturally means the outcome is unknown, meaning there are stakes at risk. To determine the stakes, a great question to ask is, what does my character risk losing in this conflict? Yes, always know that in an important scene. Like, what is the risk? What are they risking? Like, it's easy sometimes in certain situations, like in an action, they're risking their life. Like, that's easy. Sometimes on an emotional level, though, you really have to think about, like, what are they risking emotionally? Like, what are they giving up? Like, it could be, like, there's a lot of times you think about the scenes where a character has to eliminate somebody for the first time, and there's the struggle between, like, losing their humanity type of thing. So like that can also like be a risk, just as an example. Stakes usually align with the genre, so this might mean something different for every story. It can be the risk of losing their sense of security, their heart, or maybe in a horror series, literally losing their beating physical heart. Yikes. Okay, step number 3, build the tension around the stakes. It's time to put on your villain mask. Mine is always on, because this is where creators can be diabolically cruel to readers, again, in the best way possible. Okay. By looking for ways to emphasize stakes or build tension around what's at risk, creators can keep their readers on the edge of their seats in anticipation and make the resulting reward even sweeter. Tension can be built across arcs, scenes, or even within separate sequences. If there's a character goal or an unknown outcome or an important moment that's about to occur, it's a great opportunity to build a little tension. This tension will help your readers become invested in the outcome of the conflict. Chains, we know you never take your mask off. Step number 4, reward your readers. The reward in a story, scene, or sequence is the moment that helps break the tension in a very satisfying way. This could mean a conflict is resolved at the end of an episode or an arc, but tension and reward can also occur in an individual sequence. Rewarding moments may include, but not limited to, the reveal of a new character that can feel very rewarding. 2 characters' hands finally touch. I mean, not for me, but yes. A character uses a new power move. I'm always down to see a new, like, power or a new, like, growth development of someone's superpower. That's always really cool. A monster barely misses a character as they escape. That can be, I don't know. It depends on how they escape. Like, did they just dodge or did they, like, dodge and, like, run away? Like, it all depends. A comedic moment occurs. Yes. Comedic moments can be very satisfying. Often creators will sweeten these rewarding moments in a sequence and series. You can identify them in most Webtoon series by spotting impact panels, which usually feature a lot of effects. The comment section may also be quite spicy as readers react or celebrate a major moment. This is also really important. So I don't think people talk about this enough, but you can really tell how good your episode is sometimes by what people comment in the comment section. Like, why am I struggling for comment section? Like, what I mean by that is if there's something that you feel is juicy that happens in the episode, and then if you look at the comments and like nobody says anything about it, then it probably wasn't that juicy. I mean, it's hard to judge sometimes, especially if you're not getting a lot of views, because sometimes people just don't comment. But I feel like if someone does comment and it's just like a generic comment, like they're like, oh, fun episode, like, I need you to be a little more specific, reader. So that's where I feel like you can kind of judge sometimes if a scene hit the way it was supposed to. or if someone's just being nice, because I feel like it's really important to like self-examine how people interact with your content, with your product, and figure out ways to improve upon it. So always keep that in mind. Creators have a lot of visual tools to emphasize this cycle of tension and reward in their story. Tools like panel layout, pacing, gutter space, bubble layout, panel staging, information pacing. To review tips on these tools, check out our past two newsletters. So yeah, the storyboard and the reader immersion. Those were actually really, really good. This concludes this mini-series on the power of panels. Our next newsletter will focus on tips for your workflows to make comics production easier. So the upcoming two are Easy Efficiency Part 1 and Part 2. So that was a lot. Like, there was a lot included in this. I love it though. So much fun. So, I gave my protagonist both kinds of stakes, physically, getting arrested, and emotionally. That's a spoiler. Ooh, but I want the spoiler. Can we have the spoiler tonight, please? Zion Child said, finalizing the rendering. Happy to be here. Yes, happy you're here as well. Say said, I hate skinship moments because it's cringe. Or maybe I'm not prudish like the overseas demographic. Makes me drop a series because they drag a kiss for years and the main characters are my age / older. I will say, I do feel like even for young people like these days, like, yeah, I mean, unless it's like a very reserved culture, like in the series, like they establish like how this culture, how reserved it is, then I can get behind that. But if it's just like normal nowadays type stuff, I'd be like, people be doing all types of stuff on the first date. Like let's keep it a buck. Okay, Prince Boring. I just posted my episode 2 today and ended on an evil cliffhanger. Hope it has a good payoff in the next episode for readers. I hope so. Gotta check it out, Prince Boring. I saw some of the art that Prince Boring is working on. This series looks fantastic. Like, some of those panels are to die for. Say said, I'm wondering why the newsletters were not available before the contest opened. Because they didn't have anything together for the contest. Like, no shade to them. Also, I just need to like put this up so people can see it. So if anyone's looking at the end of the episode, they can see the, can I edit my submission? Like, I just love that. Like, I love that for us. I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep tooting our own horn. Like, why not? Miss Milan, dragging a kiss scene for years only makes sense for media with a young audience or a reserved culture. I mean, even for a young audience, I'm like, some of these people that I see on like socials today that are younger, I'm just like, dang, like you look older than I do. Oh, Ken, you posted your first episode. That's awesome. Andy said working on episode 2 as we speak. Yes, Andy, I feel the motivation brought back into you. Like, this newsletter was made for you. Like, let's go. I think like it just makes me feel so good that they actually listen to whoever they listen to. Like, regardless if in reality they didn't listen to anybody and they literally were just like, we keep getting emails about this, let's clarify this somewhere. Because I feel like there had to be some sort of conversation that went on at Webtoons with this. Because like when me and a group of friends were messaging them, they would not give a concrete answer on whether someone was disqualified for these minor edits. So I'm just so happy like that they would publicly state it now. Because earlier it was just like, whatevs. Like, yeah, I mean, according to the contract, you should be disqualified, but we can't answer it. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Kilton said, how many episodes people plan to post? I already posted 5, and it's hard to keep up with 40 frames per week. You've posted 5 episodes? Why are you posting so many? Stop posting. You do realize that you've got to give 2 more if you move on to the next round. Like, save those episodes. Say said the backlash kind of work, I guess. Now I'm actually thinking the entries might be less than the last contest. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, I mean, we're a super small community. I wonder if anybody even really knew about the edit issue. Like, let's say 1,000 people messaged them. That's still not a lot of people in the grand scheme of things. The Chainsaw Maniac said, "Yeah, I'm almost done with episode 2 as well. I'm posting bi-weekly though, even after contests." Oh, Chains, are you going to continue this series? I did not realize this. Am said, working on my first webtoon. Kind of worried because it's a painted aesthetic instead of the average type. Do you think standing out that much will hurt engagement? No, Lore Olympus is that painterly aesthetic, and it is like the biggest webtoon ever on their platform. Like they want another Lore Olympus. Like, you got this. Like, do not fret about the style. Like, just draw it, make sure it's interesting, dynamic, and fun, like cool panels, and you're golden. Like, don't worry about any of that other stuff. The Chainsaw Maniac said, "Yeah, it's a short comic, so I'm gonna keep it going till it's done." Oh, okay. I feel that. I feel that. Yes, short comics are the way to go these days. Chiron said, "Yeah, I mean, I plan to continue series regardless, but probably with less frames. I'm just worried about you doing weekly. Like, weekly is like too much. Too much." Say said, "Action drama is not easy if all the panels are long with constant fighting." I'm gonna say this, like, no one's even fighting in my first episode, and I have tons of long panels. Like, I really tried to go like super dynamic with stuff and make it like really fun and interesting. It was not the most smartest idea. Like, I'm so dumb sometimes. Okay, guys, so it is super late here. It is 1 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and log off. Thank you so much for jumping on with me, for chatting with me. I'm so glad that we could go over this newsletter. I'm so happy that, it seems like maybe Webtoons is listening to us. So I cannot wait to go over the next newsletter with you guys. The weekly recap will be coming out on Monday, so you can join me for that. And if you would like to come and hang out with me on Patreon, you can always do that as well. I am doing my best to make as much content as possible for all of you guys. However, I am working on my own comic entry, so just be kind to me, please. Please, please, please. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.